Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Catch Up English Podcast. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Daniel. We're so glad you're here today. Let's dive into professional business introductions.
So picture this. You are standing in the bright lobby of your office building.
Oh boy, I already know where this is going.
You have your favorite coffee in your hand. And in exactly 2 minutes, you are going to meet the most important new client your company has had all year.
Right, the pressure's really on.
Exactly. You're prepared for days, you know all the data, you are wearing your absolute best outfit, you feel completely ready.
Okay, sounds good so far.
But then the elevator doors open, the client walks out, reaches out a hand, and suddenly every single English word you know just vanishes from your brain.
Oh wow, yes, your heart starts beating so fast your hands are sweating.
Yes. Sheer panic sets in. You totally forget how to act like a normal professional person.
Yeah.
It is a highly relatable, very common scenario.
It really is. I
Yeah.
mean, I have definitely been there.
So today, we're doing a deep dive into the absolute art of the professional business introduction. We have some great sources today, including a script that gives us an introduction map.
An introduction map, I like that.
The mission of this deep dive is to find the exact words, the linguistic upgrades that can instantly change you from completely nervous to confident and trustworthy.
It is so important, right? Because those first 10 seconds, they set the tone for everything. But before we look at the vocabulary, we need to talk about why that lobby panic happens.
Right, because it's actually a biological reaction, isn't it?
Exactly. It's totally natural to feel that sudden anxiety. When you face a high-pressure meeting, your brain sees it as a threat. So it sounds an alarm and floods your body with adrenaline.
So you are literally going into a freeze response right there by the elevator.
You are. The blood actually moves away from the logical language part of your brain. So when you feel like you lost your vocabulary well, biologically speaking, you really did.
That explains so much.
Right. But the sources show that having a map, a set of practice words, stops this freeze response. You don't have to think hard because the words are already in your memory.
And to show what happens without that map, the sources share this incredibly funny but kind of painful story.
Oh, I read this part. It perfectly highlights the problem.
It really does. So there was this professional meeting, a huge client visiting all the way from London, and this professional froze up so badly.
Total panic mode.
Right. When he opened his mouth, instead of saying his job title or his company, he just stared at the client and said, "Hello, I am man."
Oh no, just I am man.
Yes, just I am man.
Wow, he probably wanted the floor to just open up and swallow him.
Oh, totally. An absolute nightmare. But his brain just shut down, so he went with the most basic biological fact. He is, a man.
Right, because he didn't have its professional vocabulary ready.
Yeah.
So our goal today is to build that map. So even if you are terrified, the right words just come out on autopilot.
Okay, let's unpack this. It is time for our language breakdown. We want to move from I am man anxiety to real authority. And that takes some very specific vocabulary upgrades.
Let's do it.
The sources show a big difference between basic English and what they call a pro-English upgrade. Usually we start with a basic statement like, I work at Microsoft or I work at Blue Star.
Yeah, that is what I always say. It's just a fact, right?
It is factual, sure. But the pro-English upgrade is shifting that to say, I am representing Microsoft today, or I am representing Blue Star.
Oh, I like that. I am representing.
Because saying I work at makes you sound like just one tiny piece of a giant machine, but saying I am representing instantly makes you sound like a diplomat, like an ambassador for the brand.
What's fascinating here is how much power that one word holds.
Mhm.
I work at is so passive, it just means they sign your paycheck.
Exactly.
But representing is active. It tells the client that you are an important, empowered part of the team. You are the official proxy for the company.
I see what you mean. It implicitly tells the client, the company trusts me, so you can trust me too.
Right.
But wait, let me ask you this. What if a listener is thinking, well, I am a junior employee, it is my first month. Does saying I am representing sound a little arrogant?
That is a great question.
No.
But no, the psychology actually points the other way. It builds huge trust. If a junior worker says, I work at the company, the client just sees them as low-level support.
They might try to skip them, talk to the boss instead.
Exactly. But if you say, I am representing the company today, you are borrowing the credibility of the whole business. It doesn't sound arrogant. It sounds incredibly professional.
That makes total sense. Okay, so we established our authority, but we still have to explain what we actually do. And the sources say the next step is choosing action over your title.
Action over title. What does that look like?
Well, they give an example of a project manager. She is meeting a client named Mrs. Miller for a new website project. The basic way to introduce her role is to say, I help with marketing. But the upgrade is to say, I'm in charge of marketing. Or specifically, I'm in charge of your new website project. Now, I have to push back a little here.
Oh.
Why is that?
Isn't a job title like project manager self-explanatory? Why isn't just saying my title enough?
Well, it's a common assumption, but titles are actually super vague. A project manager at a small design agency does very different things than a project manager at a huge global company.
Oh, I guess that's true. Titles mean different things everywhere.
Exactly. So if you just give your title or say, I help with, you are making the client's brain work really hard to guess what you actually do, and they might guess wrong.
So you are creating confusion, and I'm in charge of fixes that.
Precisely. By saying I'm in charge of, you give them absolute clarity. It tells the client exactly what action you take for them. It says, I am responsible for the specific thing you care about.
It really claims the territory. Because I help with sounds like you were just the assistant. I'm in charge of shows real leadership.
Yeah. Okay, so we claimed our authority and our utility. But what about the client's feelings? Because they are usually nervous too, right?
Oh, definitely. And this is a huge opportunity to build immediate trust. We have to create a psychological safety net for the client.
Here is where it gets really interesting. The sources give us the ultimate trust-building phrase. Usually we say something like, call me if you need help.
Yeah, that's my go-to line.
But the map says we should look them in the eye and say, I will be your main point of contact. I love this distinction.
It does sound a lot stronger.
It really is. Call me if you need help. Sounds like a generic 1-800 customer service hotline, where you wait on hold for an hour.
Ugh, yes, I hate that.
But main point of contact is like giving them a dedicated VIP concierge service.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it makes perfect sense. When a client spends a lot of money or trusts a new company, they feel vulnerable, their stress is high.
Right. It's a big risk for them.
Exactly. So calling yourself the main point of contact lowers that stress instantly. It tells them, if you have a problem, you don't need to guess who to email. Come to me and I will fix it.
Wow. So it fundamentally changes how they feel. They feel safe and looked after.
Yeah, you are offering emotional security, not just business help.
Okay, before we look at the final step, let's do our fluency builder. I will say the 3 upgraded phrases, and you, the listener, repeat them out loud after me to build that muscle memory. Ready?
I am ready to practice too.
Great. First phrase. I am representing the company today.
I am representing the company today.
I am in charge of your new project.
I am in charge of your new project.
I will be your main point of contact.
I will be your main point of contact.
Excellent job. Okay, so we have the vocabulary map, but the sources say we also need to close the loop properly. And this brings us to our pro tip.
Right, because you can have the perfect words, but if your body language is bad, the whole map falls apart.
Verbally, the shift is small. A lot of people say, I want to work with you, but the professional upgrade is, I look forward to working with you.
Oh yeah, I want to. Sounds a bit needy, doesn't it? Like you are still begging for the job.
Exactly. I look forward to assumes the relationship is already established. It's very positive. But the pro tip here is the physical rule that goes with it. The sources call it the business gold standard.
The business gold standard. Sounds fancy. What is it?
It is literally just smile and make eye contact.
Wait, really? Is the gold standard just smiling and looking at someone? That seems almost too simple. What if I am just a shy person and I tend to look at my shoes?
It does sound basic, but the sources explain that in English-speaking business cultures, it is deeply biological. Humans assess threats in milliseconds.
Oh, like evolutionary biology.
Yes. When a stranger approaches, our brain tries to figure out if they are a friend or a threat. Sustained, relaxed eye contact with a real smile releases trust chemicals in the brain.
So a smile literally signals, hey, I am safe, I'm not going to attack you.
Yeah. Basically, yes. It shows honesty. But if you look at the floor or look away when you say your name, the client's brain doesn't just think, oh, he is shy.
Right. It probably sees it as a red flag.
Exactly. It makes them subconsciously think you are hiding something. Or worse, that you are unsure about the quality of your own work.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can't look at me when you say, I am in charge, I'm going to doubt if you can actually do the job.
Exactly. You cannot verbally say you are confident while your body language says you are insecure. Humans read body language first, words second. The two must perfectly align.
If they don't align, the client will always believe the body language. every single time.
So true. Wow, we have covered so much ground today. Let's do a quick recap. We learned how to replace that terrible lobby panic with a hardwired introduction map.
Yes, no more I am man moments.
Exactly. First, you represent your company. Second, you are in charge of the project. Third, you are their main point of contact. And finally, you look forward to the relationship delivered with a warm smile and solid eye contact.
It's a huge shift. You move from being an anxious participant to being totally in control. You manage their stress and your own within 30 seconds.
So what does this all mean for you listening right now? I highly encourage you to write down your own version of this map before your next big meeting. Rehearse it until it is muscle memory.
Yeah, replace that biological panic with strategic preparation. It works.
But Daniel, this brings up an interesting final thought from the sources, doesn't it?
It does. And it is a provocative thought I want to leave you all with today. We talked a lot about how upgrading our vocabulary changes how a client sees us. But what happens internally?
Ooh, I like this.
If you wake up every day and you consciously call yourself an official representative and a vital point of contact, how might that change the way you value your own worth in your career?
That is such a powerful thought to end on. The words we use really shape how we see ourselves, not just how others see us. Thanks for learning with us.
Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.